So, here we are. Good evening. This is Dave of Apollo Healing, and tonight we're going to talk about Korean hand therapy, and we're also going to have a card reading at the end. So just bear with me one little second. Right. Okay, so we're going to have a card reading at the end of this session, but I'm going to talk about Korean hand therapy and the foundations of it and why I believe it works. So let's get that in there. We're just waiting for Raz to come on. Here comes Raz. Add in, coming in, Raz.
Good evening.
And there you are. Success! I don't believe it. I'm getting good at this.
Yeah, professionals.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I wouldn't go that far. I did start chatting before. I did start chatting before you come on, but that was just really to get rid of a bit of time, I suppose, while I was waiting. I've told everybody we're going to do a card reading at the end.
Okay.
Could you explain a bit about what that will be for me?
Card pulling. So, depending on, obviously, they get people to say if they want a card. And it might be one, it might be two, depends on spirit. And I'll just shuffle the cards, see what comes out, and give whatever messages I get.
Hi, Mum. We've got Mum in there. There's my Mum there, Lily Larkin. Bless her. There for a bit of support. So as you can see, mate, you're going to do a card reading at the end, or whoever wants a card reading can put a comment up there now. And then at the end of when I've finished chatting and stuff like what I want to explain about this Korean hand therapy, we can then move on to you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about Korean hand therapy from the beginnings, and it was invented by Dr. Tae Woo Yu in 1975. Now, you can't find much on this man when he invented it, because basically what he realised is that acupressure and acupuncture, there must be a simpler way of administering pain relief. So he came up with his own Korean hand therapy. So I'm going to show you a picture just to give you a rough idea. So here's a hand and the relevance.
That's amazing.
Right, and how you would treat. Yeah, okay, so you can see where the legs are and the arms are, and how that relates, and I'll show you that in a second. And then that's the front of the hand, and on the back of the hand, you can see how the hips are split, right? But that would be how you would treat the hips around the bottom here, and up here. So this is like your leg, and that's your leg. This is your arm. This is your arm, and this is the spine, and all its different places to press, to push, whatever. So you can see that the shoulders will be at the top of your hands, which I'll show you in a second, and how you would massage those bits to relieve tension to the shoulders. So it's a very good picture. I've got copies of that picture I can send to people, because obviously once I've shown people what this, or what you can do with it, they'll want some sort of guide. Now, when I first started doing this, I was using this hand.
Oh gosh.
This hand, as you can see, is completely different. We've got legs down here. We've got legs, both arms here, probably both legs there to treat. That to me is a bit erratic. Yeah, it's a bit all over the place. And so people, you can see, and the spine's down here, whereas on the other one, it's going down the back of the thing. So the whole idea of Korean hand therapy was to simplify things. I've got a little, there's my hand, I have a little face on there, look. So where we're going with that, okay, so this, you can see that here and that here. So what we're doing here, this left hand, the right hand goes exactly over it. There's no mirroring. So whatever's on this left hand is literally on top of the right hand. So where this would be the left leg, that's the left leg, all right? So thumb here, little finger here, and vice versa. So that is that. So it's just for this purpose, I'm just going to use this hand like anybody else would for demonstration. So the picture explains it all really, but the whole idea, and my favourite, is the back here where you've got the neck. So this bony bit here is that bony bit you've got at the back of your neck at the bottom there, and it's protrudes, doesn't it? So so that gives you a rough idea of where the middle of your shoulders are. Wow. So if you're getting tension in the left and the right shoulder, this is the, as you can see, that's going to be the left arm, right arm, left shoulder, right shoulder. So when you get this massive tension, which most people get from hard work, you know, during the course of the day, and it builds up, you can see these 2 points here. These 2 points are the ones that you would massage, push your finger in and around to find where it really hurts. When you find it, then you massage it, and you'll find it because it'll hurt. And you wouldn't expect it to hurt, but if it hurting, that's because you're spot on to what you should be massaging. Wow. Right? So, so let's just say, I mean, if anybody's got any ideas or any pains that they've got, I would then point to on the hand of where they would probably want to be able to massage that area. So I'm going to waffle on a little bit just to give you some ideas. So where we've got here the spine there, we've got the spine that runs down, and to, as a guide, you can feel that tendon in the back of that particular finger runs all the way down to here. Yeah. So that would be at the bottom of your back. Now I've done Reiki, distance Reiki, using this particular area to massage the bottom of someone's back. Okay, so look, that's giving you a rough idea. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to expand on that, and then I'm going to move on to chakras, tell you where the chakras are, and where Reiki would come in. So chakras-wise, it's quite easy. You know, if you've got an imbalance in your chakras, you could, instead of like going to your body and trying to treat your body, because you'll go to a practitioner, lay you down, put crystals on you and whatever to try and you know, balance you out, get the energies from the crystals into those particular chakras. You could use this hand. I mean, when they do distance healing, for example, they get you to use a teddy bear or something like that to perform Reiki and pretend that it's the human person that you're trying to work on. Right. Yeah. We've got someone here who'll have a card reading. Someone's put on there. I've just missed that. We'll get that in a second. Yeah. So where was I? Reiki. Chakras. Yeah. I've lost you to phone. Right. Okay. So chakras. So if you like, you've got the top here, which would be the crown. Yeah. You'll have the back here, which is, and here will be like the throat, which will be like your purple. All right. And then you can come down to the blue, which will go across here. You can go to your green, your heart and all that here, come down to your solar plexus, your sacral, and your root. So if you had an imbalance, you could actually put your hand down on the desk, and you can lay the relevant crystals on the top. Or one particular way of doing it, I thought, is that if you had the heart, like you had a green chakra or a rose quartz, you could hold it between your hands like that, and that would help get the energy to that area. You can roll it around to massage the area with the crystal, if you've got a round crystal. You could do all sorts of things. I mean, the hands are really, like, gets into your soul, because, you know, when you hold hands, when you shake hands, and you know, they're very instrumental in our everyday life, which can also have a detrimental effect as well, as I've discovered. I know someone who flicks through paperwork, prescriptions, and where they're flicking through, they don't realise it, but if they're using that finger the most, that's your neck. So you'll actually be putting a strain on your neck as well as the finger. Wow. Right? So, yeah, so where you're coming home, and I'll be honest with you, it's my wife. So, and that's what she does. And so, like, she's got constant neck ache, constant pressure. So I've actually felt this area myself. So if you like, I've told you before, this is your neck. And I felt this area here, and I've found tension, and I found a lump. All right? Now, that will be from where the constant pushing of the finger turning the prescriptions. But if that lump is relevant, then that lump will be in your neck, right? So then the tension, which is there, will be treatable from here. And the thing is, and what I'm finding is, because, and I've only just discovered this recently, so here I am trying to work on her, trying to free up the muscles on there and trying to work on the hands. And then she tells me that what she does at work, because this is what's important, is that you talk to the client and get as much out of them as you can. And then she tells me what she's doing at work, and then I realise she's pushing on this finger every day for however long. So you're upsetting your neck, you're upsetting your balance.
Yeah.
You know, you're upsetting that balance. So it don't matter how much I do or how much I manipulate, it's never really going to get better until that circumstance changes.
Yeah.
And that means perhaps using a different finger to do the job. Getting a rubber. I said to her, suggested getting a pencil rubber. You know, the old days when you had that rubber that you put at the end of the pencil, it had a lot, slightly pointed, wasn't it? Yeah. So get one of them, use that. You know, if you're using that, that will stop you using that particular joint and whatever. Would that help the neck in the long run? You know, because you'd be taking the pressure off that finger. You'd be taking that off of there. You know, I believe it. You know, I believe it works. The other thing I need to explain with the Korean hand therapy is that there's a placebo effect.
Okay.
That people will ignore because people would like to think that there's a magic. You know, that there's a magic in this Korean hand therapy, and then, oh, how does it work? Oh, why does it work? Oh, yeah, I don't believe it. Whatever. But if you convince your mind that that is your body, right? In effect, what you're doing, you're asking your body to take notice of a certain point. Okay, so placebo, for anybody that doesn't know, is a way of a sugar pill, which is it's a drug that is absolutely nothing, and then there's a drug. And what they do, they experiment with people. They give 20 people the placebo, they give 20 people the real drug, and they sometimes get the same results from both parties. And that's because 20 of them think they're having a pill and they're not. It's because their mind thinks they're having a pill and they convince themselves that, oh, this is going to work, right? Yeah. So this is the same principle. So say, for instance, you get your hand and you go, right, okay, I totally believe this. You know, get invested in what this actually can do for you. And say, right, I believe that this, my hand, my body, is my way to my subconscious to affect a healing. So let's just say we've got lung problems, and they're in the drawing, you'll see they're in the finger, at the top of the finger. And then that's in focus. Yep. So let's get a bit of light. So the lungs would be there. So I have on occasions felt people's hands and felt knots in those points. And the reason they've got knots is because they're not breathing as they should. And that could be for a number of reasons. That could be tension, grief, tension, all those things like where you just don't breathe. So your lungs aren't expanding as much as they could. So they're actually doing nothing for you. And so like you go sort of downhill. So then you have to teach people to breathe. So I'll be sitting there and I go, I can feel lumps in the finger there. That's telling me that you've got a bit of tension in your lungs. And it ain't until you explain it to them, you say, well, look, you know, do you find yourself sighing a lot? Do you find yourself fighting for breath now and again? And you know, more often than not, they are. And so, like, to help with that, to help with lungs and stuff like that, you want to teach people to breathe. Simple things like that. You know, just remembering to breathe every day and get proper oxygen supply. So I've used this really as a diagnosis system, where I would actually be sitting with people and I'll massage certain points of the hand and I'll go, oh, what's that lump now? Right? And they'll go, oh, I don't know, what do you mean? I remember a man I was doing once and I was massaging his hands, and these points here, don't forget, I told you, these are legs. Yeah. All right. And I was massaging around the thumb and it's quite tense around there. Well, that's a bit tense. You know, then that is the thigh. Okay. Right. Thigh. So I was going like that, and I said, we got some lumps in there. That's a bit naughty, isn't it? He says, yeah. He says, yeah, keep going. He went. He was getting quite intrigued by now. So I said, so I kept doing it. And I said, yeah, no, you've got some sort of trauma going on there. Turns out he'd had an accident, car accident, years before, broke both his legs. So the trauma is sort of like held in this area. I was using it as diagnosis. It was amazing. And then obviously people's throats and breathing and lumps and bumps around their hands. Some people haven't got pretty much any, you know, they've got one of these lives where they could just roll along, you know, roll with it. They've got no real problems. And you know, you'll be looking for ages and you can't find anything. But anyway, look, just to reiterate how you would treat that, and I did invest in a few tools. So to start with, we've got these.
What is this?
Basically equivalent to a ballpoint pen, really, but they're brass, shall we say, pointers. So if I said to you, oh, when you go away and you do some therapy on yourself, you could use a ballpoint pen, basically. So if, for instance, as I said to you before, you've got pain in your shoulder, and instead of using your finger, you want to be more direct. This is what these are for.
Oh,
So you could push and get more central to where your problem is. And then that would be where you would push it and you would massage it. And you just, you know, you find, and this is where like you're in the body and you're actually in the organs, and you want to get to, I don't know, the ovaries down here, and you know the polycystic, you know, ovaries that you get. So, you know, you want to try and get to that. You want to let, now what I'm trying to say here, right, is that there is no magic, but what you're telling your body, that I want you, subconscious, to treat this area. You know, without going down there and like prodding around, you're saying to yourself with a particular, whatever you want to use, that I want you, I know that this is my ovary area, and I want you, brain, body, to treat it. That once you start doing this and the brain starts to say, what's going on down there? What are you trying to tell me? You're waking the brain up to what, and in that you're actually telling it subconscious what you actually want. Yeah. What you want it to do. So, you know, that's how for me, I believe that's how it actually works. You know, there's no real magic in it. The fact is that everything starts in the mind. Yeah. And so what you're doing in effect by having this kind of system is getting to your mind. You know, you're getting to your mind because you're saying, well, look, I want you to fix this eye or vision or whatever. So you'll concentrate on the area, perhaps with something like this because it's smaller, and you'll massage the eyes. You know, and you're telling your body that I want you to do something about the eyes. It might be whatever it is, I don't know, blurred vision or whatever, but you're trying to kickstart your brain into taking notice. Yeah. Because the brain itself has a cut-off. You know, you can have so much pain, you can suffer with so much pain, and the brain will send so much painkiller to that area for you to cope with. And then you live with it, you know, and it don't really bother you no more. But sometimes when you push yourself, it comes up, it comes out. Oh, that hurt today, that hurt today. But that's because the brain has now gone past its level of painkiller, and so it's not really going to not trigger it. What you want to do to affect a proper pain relief is to push it past that barrier, and that's to make it hurt. You want to make it hurt, so the brain says, oh, hold on a minute, I better send some more painkilling down there. So you have to sort of make it hurt. And that's where I reckon this Korean hand therapy comes in, because what you're doing is you're pushing and making things hurt, and the brain's going, hang on, what's going on here? What's happening? Yeah, right. So on that note, I've got this one here. Now, what is that? It's like a torture thing, isn't it? No, but basically what this is for, you put on the wrist. All right? And because it's pointed, as it goes up and down the arm, it stimulates the acupressure points, which is why I started all this in the first place. All right, so what that does will stimulate blood flow. But you would do that, and then you move on to these. Oh, God. And they're smaller, right? Actually, I've even got smaller. Right? No. Now, imagine. Now, these are magic, absolute magic, because imagine that you've got cold hands, right? And the reason you've got cold hands is down to circulation, right? So, you know, there's not enough circulation getting down to the hands, so it's like, well, I need to get that down there. It's all right massaging, prodding, pushing, but this, because it's got so many points on it as it goes up and down the finger, you'll see, right? There's lots of little points actually digging into the finger as it goes up and down. Does it hurt? Right, and does it hurt? Mildly, but because you're doing that, and even if you use your hand to actually push it on, you're stimulating the blood cells in that finger. You're telling the brain something's going on down here, and so the brain goes, hold on, and then you start to get your circulation going. Now, just as an example, I'll leave that there for a minute, just so you can show its effectiveness. So when you push that in, you'll see there'll be like little holes in my finger where it's been pushed. Okay, so if you can imagine that all these are pressure points in the hand. So in effect, you're actually in front of my finger. You can see that. Wow. Yeah, you're trying to affect. So again, when you're doing that, you do every finger, and all that it will do will stimulate the circulation. Can you see there's a difference in colour? Yeah. Already, there's a difference in colour. This one looks dark already, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's because the blood is now being, it's like a massage for the whole thing. But if you think about it, you're doing a whole massage on your body. That is your neck, what you're doing there, right? Then you're massaging your arms. Yeah, so you're helping to circulation go. So, you know, and you're telling your body, I want better circulation. The brain's going, we better do something about that.
Yeah.
But what I will touch on while I'm at this point is that you've got to eat properly. This sounds mad, but you've got to eat properly because you get your energy from your food.
Yeah, of course.
So in order for you to direct healing, you've got to draw on energy. And if you haven't got that energy, you're not really going to achieve much. No. Do you know what I mean? Because like you're gonna wear yourself out. So you need to make sure you're hydrated, you know, and that you're ready before you do this kind of treatment. Because once you start, you know, and the circulation starts and the brain starts going and everything starts going, you could actually get a bit weaker from it. So be aware of that. Right, so that's that. Now I've got this one here. You see that? Right. Yeah, I mean, it looks like cheap plastic. Yeah, I get it, and it is. But the fact is if you look at the effectiveness of that, you know, you're stimulating all those points, right? You can look at my hand.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
See how many points you're getting. You know, that's great if you're thinking of stimulating your chest, you know, your heart, you know, down here, you're stimulating the lower regions, you know, your intention is part of the healing. You know, we all know that it's the intention that affects the healing. So if you're creating an intention like that and you're literally got this thing where you're massaging this, you're massaging that, you look at how many points of it already.
Oh, wow.
You can see that. You know what I mean? Just literally, you know, I want to treat my left hand, for instance. I want to get better circulation. So I can just literally push that. Look at that. So you can see that, can you?
Yeah.
So what's going to happen there? Those little dots have told my body what's going on.
Yeah.
So the circulation will start to come down and it will start to get, you know what I mean, and start that going. Right, when it comes to Reiki, I think, did I explain? Yes, did I say Reiki? I'll carry on anyway. So what I've done, knowing I've got this Korean hand therapy off, I'm thinking, hang on a minute, this could be expanded. So I thought, well, I've done Reiki, I've done a Reiki course, and I understand how it all works as such and how you send healing and stuff like that. So let's go one step further. Let's say, right, okay, so now I've got my teddy bear now.
Yeah.
Right, my teddy bear is now my hand. So if I want to affect a healing, I would then perhaps then put my Reiki energy on the hand. It's as simple as that. And then the other hand, it's as simple as that. I haven't really got to go around here and everything around there. I've literally just got to lay my hand down and carry out my own Reiki on my hand, knowing that I'm treating my body.
Yeah, because of all the points.
Simple, isn't it? It's simple. It's simplicity, and basically, and you know, I'm not insulting myself here, but I'm all about simple. You know, I want things to be simple. You know, I went into acupressure, I looked at the meridians and everything else, and all the hundreds of lines and dots that you had to learn, which is all very well, but you can't keep getting a book out every time you go and see someone or sit with someone. It'd be very nice that you could go, I'll tell you what we can do this. And there's so much you can do with the hands, and people like. And another reason I went to hands is because people don't really want to get their body out if they can help it. Yeah, and especially going to a man and stuff like that. Yeah. So from my point of view, it was easier to work with hands because it's more comfortable for people. Yeah. So because when I found this, when I stumbled upon this, I thought, wow, this is the answer to my dreams, like to be able to help people through their hands, literally just with all these things that I can use. I mean, you're treating chakras, you're using Reiki, you're literally getting to the body. So I found that like really, really amazing, and that's where I just think it's an amazing thing. So for me, anybody got any questions on that, or they want to ask me anything, or they just want to, so we've got respiratory problems. Have I stopped the comments here? Just bear with me a minute. Hi Katie. Hi, Chris. Chris said he'll have a card reading. Raz. What about respiratory problems? Now, that's really good. For example, I still have a persistent cough since having COVID in October, which has now left damage in the throat. Oh, very good. Well, I think we both know. We're both nodding here what we can do with that. I don't know why the comments aren't rolling. Maybe I'm not getting that many. But, yeah, OK, Katie, we'll address that. And that'll be mainly for the chakra system. And something you need to look at if you don't know it, look up chakras on Google and their relevant colours to the body. And in your case, and what you're talking about is the blue for the throat. And then as it goes down into the lungs, we're talking about the green and the heart. And so that you would be looking to get crystal help for a start. Wear something not blue, you know, a nice lapis lazuli, or Raz, can you think of any blue ones top of your head at the moment?
Oh gosh, there's so many.
There is. Yeah, blue calcite. But a go-to crystal really is lapis lazuli, isn't it? I mean, it's an easy one to remember, and you can find that quite readily, can't you?
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, with that, okay, so that's the crystal side of it, where you could get that, and what that crystal will do, Katie, is guide you into the next level of helping yourself. So the crystal itself's energy will match you, but you will get hunches, things to do. You might want to drink something different. You might want to do something different you don't normally do. It will come through, but follow it, go with it, do with it. You know, just do it, and follow it. So you might fancy a particular food or something, but know that that's your body's way of trying to tell you and help you make that right. The other thing, of course, as I just said, you've got your Korean hand therapy which you can work on, and I'll probably post some pictures on here as it goes so you can have a look. And then you can use the respiratory, as I said, is the lungs here and up into the throat. So all the front there would be a nice place to massage, give it lots of massaging, push your point of your thumb in there. You could even do this just to sort of massage the tops of there to get to the respiratory part, right? Those are tips on that. Respiratory problems, for example, I still have a persistent cough. So the coughing's the lungs. So again, as I said, the lungs are here. So if you look at this picture, it quite clearly says where the lungs are. Let's just make sure that's in focus for you. So yeah, so where the lungs are. So you could put oils on that particular point. You know, there might be an oil. Well, there is an oil. I don't know what oil it would be. Maybe a lavender or something that you could rub into that point of your finger. You know, in and around the area. Say that again, Raz?
Try some herbal teas for the cough. Natural
herbal teas for the cough. Yeah, herbal teas. Anything like that. Things that you can breathe in. You know, to get the, you know, especially natural stuff. So as you breathe it in nice and deep, you're breathing really deep. That is a good idea, by the way. What I said earlier about breathing. And how important it is. So in your situation, Katie, you need to be getting outside and taking a slow, deep breath. Hold it for a little while and then let it out slowly. If you like, it's like exercising your lungs and to expand your lungs. And you're going to open up all the little sacs that are inside the lungs. So as you breathe in nice and deep, hold it for a little while, count for about 4, and then let it out nice and slowly. So that you're exercising the lungs to take in more air, and the more you do that, the better you will get. I reckon about a week if you've done that regularly, in about a week you would start to clear that up.
Yeah.
Right, Sarah, what we got with massaging of the hands? Do you get instant results, or is it over a period of time? Right. Okay, you do get instant results, but for the long term, you would have to do. Depends if it was persistent. If it was something that you've got a pain every now and again, then I would only just do the hands every now and again. But if you had something that kept on and on and on, then I would then set out a bit of in your head. Say, well, I'm going to tackle this 3 times a day. In the morning, I'm going to, I don't know. Let's say we've got a chest problem, for example. So in the morning, I'll get my oils on, massage them in like that. Massage them in, because this is the area that you'll be doing for the lungs. Massage them in the morning, right? And in fact, it wouldn't be a bad idea to breathe that in put your hands together, breathe it in, and then breathe it out slowly. So you're taking the oil in directly, and you're also doing this, and you're telling your brain that you want to tackle it. So do that 3 times a day. So around about lunchtime, bit of oil on the fingers, whatever, rub it in like that, and then breathe in, breathe it out. Do it about 3 times, morning, noon, and night. And then just keep doing that until it subsides. Again, it depends what you've got. Sometimes you might need a direct approach. You might need to massage the arms directly, which is very effective as well. But this is like for, I'll tell you a good painkiller, should you get in pain where you can't handle it and you do want an instant result, then the traditional Chinese is the webbing here between the forefinger and the thumb, and you press. Now, if you press around there and you find a point that hurts, that is where you will press and massage, okay? So in this kind of way, so you would actually massage it like this, and it will hurt, but you've got to keep that pain up. And I would do that for about 15 seconds. I would do both hands as well, both hands. But that, for traditional Chinese, they'll tell you that's what they use for painkiller straight away. You know, you can bypass all what I told you for an instant result. It's here. And just to cut in on that, I had kidney stones a couple of years ago. Some people know this story, but I'm going to tell you. I was laying in bed and I got up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was extreme pain, like people have probably experienced. And I thought, God, this is really, really bad. And I went to the bathroom. I didn't know what to do with myself. It was in my back. I really didn't know what to do with myself. And I sort of panicked, if you like, told the wife to call an ambulance because this is really bad. I know this is bad. You know your body that well that you know that this is not good. So anyway, I'm laying on the bathroom floor and I know these. So I thought, oh, press that, and it bloody hurt. I'm going to be honest with you, it really hurt. So, but what I did, I could persistently press that area. And I was laying on the bathroom floor and the pain subsided. It was amazing. Oh, that's great. That's good. That's good, right? So the ambulance people turned up, they came up the stairs and they said, "Are you all right?" I said, "Yeah, I am now." They said, "Oh, yeah." I said, "Yeah. I said, "I've had this really bad pain." And they took all the vitals and they went, "Oh, well, you look okay to us. Okay, any problems, let us know." Well, anyway, 2 hours later, I'm back up, I'm in the bathroom, and I've got all these pains. And I'm, oh, so I'm laying on the floor again, get the ambulance again, get the ambulance again. I know. And I'm laying on the bathroom floor and I'm pressing this point again, and and then eventually it went, oh, that's good. Ambulance people turned up and they got to the top of the stairs. And I said, "Oh, I'm all right in a moment. I really don't know." "Well, you're coming with us." I ended up going up there, and it turned out to be a couple of kidney stones. But I managed to override the pain. It was amazing to think that I had that in reserve to do that. And again, you know, fighting kidney stones, you then start on this thing about healing, and you think, well, what can I do about kidney stones? Where are they? Well, they're in this chakra here. They're in line with the solar plexus and the sacral. So you look at the crystals that would help that area, and I started using amber and stuff like that, because they said that what did I want to do to disperse these stones? And I said, well, look, leave it with me. I'm going to see what I can do, you know, because otherwise I'm booked in for a hospital, blah, blah, blah. They're going to blast them, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. I said, no, leave it with me. They said, "You're right for 3-6 months?" I went, yeah, let me see how I get on. So anyway, I carried amber around for me for quite a while, and I will say that the time I went back to the hospital and had a checkup, from what was, I think, 3 stones, I had 1 small stone left. That's so amazing. You know, and again, what happened there, obviously once I've started that, I start being more aware and I start looking at things of what will help and what will disperse it, and because lemon juice and stuff like that will help disperse them. So I started to go on that as well, all guided, you know. I just had this intuition that something's telling me to try this, to try that. Yeah. So yeah, you know, this moves me on to talking about listening to your body, which I'm not going to do tonight because that is massive. That is massive. But I know this is a subject that I will and I do want to cover. Absolutely do, but I do think it needs more respect, where we need to give it more time. We need to, we need to start from the beginnings of why we think you should listen to your body, and it's just so much. So that's why I just thought, just cover Korean hand therapy today and the Reiki side and the chakra side of things. And that will conclude what I've got on Korean hand therapy. So if anybody's got any questions or any other things that they want to ask about, put it in the comments and I'll address those comments. I'll answer them personally or whatever, however you want to. But as the night's going on, I think it's time we've done a card reading. So
wait.
Go on.
You know, like you were saying.
Sorry again.
And
go on.
You know, like you were saying, how like was it the lungs and the chakras and the heart, right? So, is it in alignment with palm reading? Because I can't remember it all. But I know with palm reading, you know, you've got like your lifeline, your heart line, all that sort of thing. And I'm just wondering if that healing, that modality is tapped into that.
Good point. Very good point. No, very good point. Blimey. I'm a great believer of what works for you. So if you was into palm reading, and you felt you could tie this in, then do it. Then do it, because you know there's no one owns anything. You know, it's what you know and what fits for you. You can advise people that this is what worked for me. It might work for you. So you know, and then it's up to them if they want to run with it. So palm read. I get what you're saying. It's you can keep it separate, or it depends. As I say, you could use whatever you want to use to get to an end. You know, you can use everything and anything. You know, if you want to use palm reading and that gives you a message, and then you want to attack it from another angle, then attack it. But what I'm giving out today is that, you know, learn to trust yourself and have some sort of something in your locker. And Korean hand therapy and hand is a great thing to have in your locker, because it's like, blimey, how simple can that be? How simple can that be? And if you think to yourself, well, I actually want to treat this, I want to treat that. Well, hang on, what does that represent? Oh, that picture says, oh, that's the liver there. Oh, the liver's there, is it? Oh, okay, so I've got a dodgy liver, so which is covered this bit here. So you would then sort of massage or push around that area, give yourself a bit of self-love, because that's what it is at the end of the day. You know, you're paying attention to yourself. You're not just ignoring it. You're not just going, oh, no, forget it. You're actually turning around on it and going, right, okay, I want to help myself. And this is one good way of doing it. Right, so I'm going to hand it over to you now, Raz. I do believe I've missed that comment. I don't know where it's gone. Chris wanted the card reading. That'll be interesting. Okay. So shall I leave that with you?
Yeah, I'm just so I'm using, what deck am I using? Kyle Gray deck. So I'm just having a little shuffle, seeing what drops out. Oh God, they're flying out. So Chris, is that a male or female?
That's a male. It's my son-in-law, in fact.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I've got White Witch and Sage. So give me a sec.
Yeah.
All right, so from the White Witch, what I'm feeling, this is about tapping into natural remedies. That's what I'm feeling with this one. So I don't know if it's you or somebody around you, but I'm seeing a lot of herbs. I'm seeing a lot of mixing stuff together, pestle or mortar, blending stuff. This is nuts, because it's all around. This is all around him. And it's okay. So there's a line for business here with herbal remedies. That's what I'm seeing. So it's like, you know, like you make up potions, but these things are proper. Like they could be teas, they could be what they're called, elixirs, tinctures. I don't know what they're called, but remedies, and then herbal I'm seeing mixes of plants. So like rosemary, like if you mix rosemary with something and you put it into, I'm seeing it in oils, I'm seeing it in, could be in soaps. I'm just seeing infusions of herbs into stuff. So this is like a business idea. And it does feel like earthly. So it's all about nature and tapping in with what's available. It doesn't feel like shop ball. I don't know if this is some new thing you're thinking about, or somebody around you is doing this, but it feels very much like it could be a family thing. People could get involved in this and all have an idea of where to go with it and what to make. Because I feel like if everyone was to put their ideas in a basket, instead of you having 1,000 ideas, you'd come up with like 10 really good ones and focus on them, go with that and see where it goes. But it feels very holistic and very healthy, and even the food, like what you were saying earlier, I'm seeing healthy food changes, and it's going to take a while, but it feels like one person does it and then someone else gets on board, and then it kind of escalates till everyone's doing it and there's new recipes and it just feels really nice, and yeah, full change of lifestyle.
Right, that's interesting.
Sage. So the sage has two meanings for me. So the first thing is a cleansing, because whenever I see sage, I think about burning it and cleansing. So this feels like a regular cleansing of home and self, because obviously when you're out in the world, you're picking up on energies. You're walking past people, you're interacting with people, and you're taking on energies. Yes, Sarah, I'll come to you in a minute. And so this feels like you need to regularly cleanse to get rid of anything that you might have picked up on. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is a sage is like, these old sages are like seers, like mediums. So I feel like there's a spiritual link in there that you need to explore, because it feels like it's starting to open up, but it needs to go because everything is there. You just need to tap into it. Yeah, that's all they're giving me. So yeah, explore and enjoy, and see where it takes you.
Yes, okay. Well, we'll leave that with him. I mean, I've got an idea, and I don't want to put words in people's mouths, but I might discuss that with him and see if that's any relevance to what we've spoken about in the past. Not me, what I want to do. Okay. It's something he was talking about. He's a bit entrepreneurial anyway. He's our Chris. He'd have lots of fingers in pies, and he's got a bit of a head for for business and opportunities and stuff like that. So it may be something that's coming up, or it might be something that he's discussed, or as I say, as you say, something might be coming. Yeah, I don't know. Funny enough, that No, I've had some ideas. I don't really want to spoil the vibe on that. I'm just going to say leave that where it is, because we don't want to put ideas in people's heads. So let's just see what materialises, and see what's made of that. And again, this is a recording, so you can obviously play it back. Yeah. Did you have someone else on there?
Sarah.
What's that?
This is for Sarah, so it's autumn.
All right. Okay.
Got Mother Earth. So the autumn. So this feels like this period now, and what I'm seeing is this feels like a time of tying up loose ends, planning. Everyone seems to be on this. I don't know what it is, but January, I don't know if it's the full moon. I don't know what's going on, but it just feels like, to me, it feels like January is a month of finishing projects, tying up loose ends, closing doors, letting go of things, clearing out the closets, like everything, and planning for what's to come. So I feel like there's a lot of that going on, and even when you get tired of doing it, push through it, because I feel like it has to be completed by the end of this month. Like, if you drag it on to February, then you're gonna delay everything else that's supposed to happen. So that's the autumn card. The Mother Earth, this feels like a birthing of ideas. So it's ideas, opportunities. So this all comes when you've done everything that you need to do for this month. And I feel like even with your son-in-law, there's flooding of ideas, creativity. It just feels like it's like boom, 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 boom. So I kind of feel like you need to write stuff down because you're going to be bombarded. So write stuff down, look at it, because you might, you know, if you don't write it down, or even if you do, it might seem a bit overwhelming. So write stuff down, look at it, and then go, right, okay, where do I start? Work through them, like look at them and see what jumps out. Whatever jumps out, that is the number one passion. And then take that idea, and it might seem massive, but you need to break it down into bite-sized pieces and just work towards it a little bit at a time. Even if it's one thing you do a day, by, you know, month, 3 months, whatever, divine timing, whenever it's meant to happen, it will happen. So yeah, birthing of ideas, new projects, work towards them slowly but surely, because I do feel this is a year of feels like an abundant year. So it does feel like closing the door on the past and not even thinking about the future, just being in the present. And I just feel like there's a confidence around, a new confidence that's making people just take a leap of faith. Whereas before they'd hold back and go, oh my God, I don't know if I can do that. Now it's just like, oh, what happens, isn't it? Just jumping in there. And I just feel like it's going to create a shift, because if everybody's on that, something has to give, isn't it? And it's just going to spark the spiritual energy, because it's about people free will and doing things like passionately, instead of things that they have to do. They're doing things that they want to do. And that's the beauty of life. You know, once you get to that stage, you're going to get rewarded, because you're on your life's purpose. You're living your life, isn't it? So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Now you got another one at the bottom there, I reckon.
Have I? Who?
Yeah. Got Julie.
Oh, I've only got 2 watchers up there.
I've got 5.
Oh wow.
I've got Julie. Julie, if there's any chance of a card for her, please.
Yeah, come in.
Have a shuffle. Have a shuffle.
yeah. Getting off up here. The energy is high tonight.
Hope that helps, Sarah.
Yeah, what's she saying?
Well, she said that's great, thank you, but I know a relevance to that personally myself, so yeah, we don't discuss it obviously, but we will. There is definitely a relevance to that. Right, this is for Julian, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got Traveller and we've got Spirit Fox.
Right.
So Traveller. This feels more like, I don't see it traveling as, I mean, you might travel, but with this COVID thing, I'm not seeing that. What I'm seeing is traveler magic. So I'm talking about gypsy. I'm talking about tapping into spirituality. I'm talking about, this is what I'm feeling, intuition and knowing, this is a very wise person who knows more than they let on. I feel like this is going to be a year of, it feels like you're opening doors. So I feel like there's opportunities around you that you're going to open and actually walk through these doors. Whereas before you might have like just been like, nah, I don't know about that. I don't know if it's for me. I feel like you're going to go places. I'm seeing you giving a lot of information. This feels like you could be doing readings. I just feel like there's a lot of people around you that you're giving, like imparting knowledge to and giving them advice and guiding them. And it's really important that you protect your energy, because I feel like there's a lot of people around you and some of them are very draining. And that's why sometimes you kind of like back off a bit. But I'm seeing writing around you as well. They've just given me writing. I don't know what I don't even know if that's something you thought about, but I'm seeing writing, and this feels like they feel like self-help things. And they're not very big either. They're like little booklets. I want to call them like they're short and sweet, straight to the point, you know, no beating around the bush. Like what you see is what you get. So you'll read it and it's like, boom, in your face, this is what you got to do. You know, that's it. It's like there's no messing about. So there's a lot of stuff going on with you and around you. And I just feel like this year you're going to step into your full power. I don't feel like you've been using your power to the fullness. So I feel like this year you're going to just step into it and like, ta-da! Here I am.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Okay, and the spirit fox. Right now, I'm seeing a fox that's around. This feels like a fox that you might see in your garden. I feel like this fox passes. So it could be like you come out of your front door and he passes. You might look out your garden window and you can see the same fox walking along your garden. And this fox will stop and look directly. It will make eye contact with you and then it's gone. And I feel like this is feels like a guardian more than a messenger. So I feel like when there's stuff going on, like if you feel a bit uneasy, you'll see this fox a lot more, and it's just a reassurance. When you see this fox, just know that everything's okay, everything's going to be fine. If you don't see them that often, it's because you're on the right track, everything's going well, there's nothing to worry about. The minute you see this fox, it's telling you, Spirit's got you, they got you, don't panic. Yeah, so when you start to get stressed out, you'll see this fox more, and it will just give you this reassurance of everything will be all right. And this feels like this is somebody in spirit that's coming in fox form. This is like a grandparent, great grandparent that's coming to let you know everything's good. Yeah, I don't want to get into the spirit right now. Go away today.
Yeah. Just expand, won't it? That's what we've got. Is that it for tonight, by the look of it?
Okay.
I can't see anything on there, can you? So that was interesting.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have some comments when people thought about it. Someone just said, what's Sarah saying? That's good. Thanks. That's great. Yeah. Okay, good. You're welcome, Julie.
Got a thank you from Julie. Right, so this is only the start. This is only the start of our journey, and we're hoping that whoever's watching tonight, listening or whatever, pass it on to their friends. Whilst I've got you here, we've got a couple of minutes, so I'm just thinking I'm going to go to 8:30, so we'll do an hour. But what do you think would be a good topic next week? So next week we'll do. Are you happy with the card readings again?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll keep that format where you can do the card readings at the end. And basically, what I want to know, if anybody's got any suggestions or comments where they want to talk about a certain thing, then feel free. And then we might use that as a subject matter. But otherwise, if I don't hear anything, I'll choose something. I'll run it by you, Raz. Because I just wondered if there was anything you particularly wanted to talk about that we could start off with next week and then finish with the card readings again before I make a suggestion myself.
You know me, I only talk about healing and trauma and spiritual stuff. So
right, so you actually want to touch on this trauma more?
Yeah, I think it'd be a good topic. What's this one?
There's Julie's comment there. You want to read it, Raz?
Funnily enough, I've been feeling more stressed and anxious the last few nights and been woken up to the foxes that hang out on our front garden in the evenings. So look, when you look out the window, see the one that's looking at you, because one will look at you, the rest might run off, but this one fox will look at you. That's the one.
And you mentioned a grandparent, possibly?
Yeah. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
As soon as I start talking about the fox,
okay. Right, okay. Well, we'll let Julie work that out. Leave her with her thoughts with that and see what she thinks and who that might be. And hopefully she'll come back and comment next week, Julie, or during the week or whatever. This is an open thing, by the way. You can comment anytime, and we'll pick it up and we'll get back to you. This isn't like, you can, because when you have card readings of any kind or a mediumship, it doesn't necessarily trigger or twig right now. And some, because you're like being put on the spot, and that the people have, oh yeah, well, I don't know about that, I don't know about this, but about 2 or 3 days later, it's blimey, yeah, or they meet someone or whatever. So don't dismiss what you've heard tonight, everybody. This is what's in the air. This is what's in spirit at the moment that's in line with you. Yeah, that's right. So we need to explain that to people.
Can be future as well.
Right. Sarah's asking when we will be back. What do you reckon? I was going to go every 2 weeks, but if we could make this every week, what do you think?
Fine.
I think every week. I think it suits me on a Wednesday night. It suits you? Yeah. And I think the more regular we are, the more people will want to participate, won't they? Okay.
Yeah.
Just on. I also said to you, didn't I? And I think it might be useful. But who's here actually watching? Yeah, I think. This would be irrelevant. I think this would be relevant. So I spoke to you earlier, didn't I? That what I will do is bring in lesson of the week at the end. So I will have learnt something during the course of this week from all those lovely people out there that would have expanded my knowledge. And what I will do, I'll put it into a 2-minute chat. So the one that I learnt this week that clicked was with a client who has restless legs. And these restless legs has been going on for years. And one thing I will say, and I've said this to you earlier, is that the more you talk to people, the more you get out of them, and the more relevance to the situation comes out. So restless legs in this particular person started many, many years ago. So whilst I was talking to them today about something that was stressful in their life right now, and they had these restless legs, they was put in a position where they felt like they did when they was at school being bullied. So what happened in this particular situation, like now, this week, has made them feel like they did when they was back in the school playground, let's just say. And when you ask that person, well, okay, so when did your restless legs, start? When did it start? Oh, it's years ago when I was very young. This is very interesting, because what we're going to talk about eventually is trauma in the body and how it materializes. And in this particular case, whilst talking about this and then whilst talking about that, we made a connection where I know that situations in the body, backaches and stuff like that, are brought on by emotional feelings from within and past traumas. And what I said to them, that the legs, the restless legs, in its entirety is a wanting to run but can't. And it's also tied up with the fact that if you want to go and do something, or you really want to go and do that thing, and you really want, I don't know, whatever it is, go to a concert, whatever, and you've missed it, stuff like that, you really wanted to go, and you've got this restless leg syndrome that you don't know why it's there, because all of a sudden, why do my legs play up? It's all about, let's get down to the doctors and find out what that is. Well, when you tie it up to the point that, you know, this was a case of being stuck to the spot, couldn't run, you know, and the legs are the things that you would use to get away from this particular situation, and you're stuck on the spot, and then it goes right back to that point of the bullying where all I wanted to do was run away, but I couldn't. And so where does this emotion go? That emotion at that time, that stress, that trauma goes in wherever it can. At the point of wanting to run was in the legs. Yeah. So you could have this restless leg syndrome most of your life and not know where it comes from. And when, like in the situation I found out today, and then we go, click, hang on a minute, this is what it is. You wanted to run when you was a kid, but you couldn't. You want to run now, but you couldn't. So this is what this is all about. This is why you've got the restless legs. Oh, bingo. Right, so now I know that this is what causes my restless legs. I'm going to deal with that situation how I see fit, rather than just sit there and go, why is this? Why is it happening? Hang on a minute, I know why it's happening. That upset me. That upset me. Let's deal with it. Let's deal with it. And I'll bet your restless legs will disappear. And it's all about that, getting that trauma out there, and dealing with it. So that's what this, you know, what you were saying. Yeah, it's so important that we, you know, talk as well. This is another thing. It's all about talking. You must talk. You must communicate. So hopefully this is what we're going to do here for people that are going to want to, I don't know, bring things out or talk to, or whatever. We don't have to do it live here. We're talking about, you know, if you want to talk on Messenger or whatever, then great. You know, we'll address it. I've got a book by Yvette Rose on metaphysical anatomy, and that's Your Body's Talking, Are You Listening? And that's a very thick book. So anything anybody's got to say or got, look at that. Yeah, I'll use that as a doorstop. Or a doorstep. But there's, you name anything that you know someone's got, and it'll be in this book. And basically I can read out what I found or what that person tells me. I'll read out its relevance, and it's up to them to decide whether it's relevant to them or not. And I can tell you 99% of the time it will be. You don't have to admit it to me in front of me, I don't care, but the fact is you will go, yeah, that's bloody relevant, you know. So yeah, so we'll get on that.
Another example is one of my clients had this thing about not finishing nothing. So she starts decorating in the home, doesn't finish it. Starts buying like new bits of furniture, doesn't complete the project. Sets up businesses, doesn't take it to the full level. Like goes with the idea, gets everything, does a couple of things, but where it can expand, she holds herself back. So we're talking through it all, and then she's like, I just don't know what it is. And I said, so what's your problem with endings? And she's like, what? And I said, you got an issue with endings. And she's like, what do you mean? I said, well, if you finish decorating, you've completed that project, it's ended. If you buy all the furniture that you want, it's complete, like your home's complete. And if you're working on your businesses and you expand them, they're going to make money. So then you've got no struggle. It's just about putting yourself out there. Like, what is it? What is it that's stopping you? And she just sat there and she was like, oh my God. Oh my God, I don't know. And I said, well, try and think, what was it that ended that you didn't want to end? And it was somebody passed, like one of her parents passed, and she wasn't ready. She was really young when her parent passed, and she felt like she didn't have any closure. So it was like, now she hasn't dealt with that grief. So it's like you can't talk to her about it because she just don't talk about it. You go, how do you feel? I don't want to talk. Yeah, it's just buried. So that's one trauma. God knows what else is going on there.
Yeah. We've got this ability, a lot of things away, haven't we? This is why this is important, that even if we're just talking and it relates to people who don't want to talk to us, that's fine. But at least, you know, they go, oh, well, it's not just me. You know, it's not. I'm not nuts. I'm not mad. You know, that's happened to someone else. And hopefully this is what we're going to do. So what do you reckon? That we can convene next Wednesday? we'll discuss. I don't know. So many things. Trauma is so massive. I would like people to come on here and say they've got a particular problem, or they know someone that's got a problem. And what do I think? And then what do you think? And then we can work it through, and then they can take it away with them. You know. But in the meantime, we need a conversation point to start next week. And I'm just trying to think. I have so much in my head. You know, I've done my Korean hand therapy. I suppose we've just been better off doing trauma work.
Yeah, we can talk about it and get a plan of action.
Yeah, and the different cases. And then what I could do, I could pick something out of that book. I could just we could pick up an ailment and we'll pick it up and then we'll talk about experiences with it. How's that? Yeah. All right, we'll do that. And we'll still have our card reading at the end. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do that next week. So thanks anybody that's watching and listening, or may watch it later on or whatever. Feel free to give comments. We'll comment back at you. And until next week, we'll see you then. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
See you later, Ed.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Yeah, you too.